Good morning, I'm Mary Roberts, Executive Director of Frank Lloyd Wright's Martin House. We're here today to welcome the Buffalo Olmsted Parks Conservancy on their Wednesday rides. We're pleased to be part of the Olmsted Conservancy neighborhood here in Parkside District, a historic neighborhood in Buffalo, New York. We're in the kitchen interior courtyard gardens at the Martin House, and we're going to welcome the group and take a walk around the front of the house, look at the landscape, and discuss a little bit of what Olmsted's relationship to Frank Lloyd Wright was and why we're so proud to be in this district. Frank Lloyd Wright was a daring young architect in the early 1900s when Darwin and Isabel Martin invited him to Buffalo to design a home for them. They initially had hoped to move into a much more high-end district over on Oakland Place, but Frank Lloyd Wright convinced him to stay here and purchase what was an open lot at the corner of Jewett Parkway and Summit Avenue in the historic Parkside neighborhood. The house he designed for the Martins was a true design integration, blending the interiors with the exteriors. Wright coined the term organic architecture and felt that the buildings had to look as if they bloom where they were planted. The Parkside neighborhood is so named because it borders the main park in Olmsted's Parks and Parkway system, Delaware Park, just to the east of the Martin House. This neighborhood is a historic neighborhood because it was designed by Frederick Law Olmsted as the only commission he did for a neighborhood layout. It's a system of gentle, curvilinear streets, sort of a mixed socioeconomic neighborhood. And it was beautifully designed and was designed as a garden suburb at the time. This was really a rural area reaching out from downtown Buffalo. Frank Lloyd Wright created a system and a connection of buildings that was on a very strong north, south, east, west grid. And he actually asked the Martins if he could square up his buildings with the side street Summit Avenue and basically deny the frontage that Olmsted created here in that curvilinear shape. Frank Lloyd Wright even went so far as to draw the Martin House, publish his first major portfolio, and straighten all of Olmsted's streets. Now, we would never do that now. We love the fact that Parkside is such a beautiful, gentle neighborhood. On the east veranda of the Martin House, the veranda was basically an extension of the living rooms into the gardens, creating an outdoor living space. Wright also created outdoor living spaces in the gardens themselves. Behind me, you see the very large east or summit lawn, as well as a raised terrace, the Barton House, the shrubs, the English border gardens that create the wonderful settings on the summit lawn. One of the major features at the Martin House was the 24 circle in a square urns that were planted, irrigated, and tucked on corners throughout the buildings. As you look around the veranda today, you'll see the very large semicircular florist cycle which Wright designed. The land is sloped, it creates almost a bowl-like effect, and below the veranda the Martins had their own outdoor garden room, as it were. The florist cycle is an amazing array of plants that bloom and have color in them throughout the year, basically from March, April through the fall. They grow up in height and color and change throughout the season. Instead of a garden wall to give them privacy, Wright gave them a vegetative screen that really enhanced the living in the outdoor spaces. If you enjoy gardens, please be sure to come here and visit us, take one of our tours, one of our landscape or home and garden tours. And beginning in the late June, early July, we're going to have a public art exhibit in partnership with the Albright Knox, featuring very large, playful ceramic pieces by world-renowned artist June Kaneko. We hope to see you very soon at the Martin House on Parkside Avenue in the Frederick Law Olmsted Design neighborhood of Buffalo, New York.